welcome to the Heavenly Treasury broadcast, where we help believers achieve God's financial abundance for your life. I'm your host, Ron Turba, author of the Heavenly Treasury series on biblical finance, coming today with hopefully a topic that's going to bless you beyond belief, and it's going to make your day tomorrow better than it is today, and the end of the day better than it was yesterday. Okay, so that's what we do here. What we do is we focus on biblical finance from a very different perspective than most other people have. Okay, and why am I doing this? Because I believe that God is constantly looking for people who are looking to expand his kingdom, and not just from a philosophical point of view of, hey, I listened to this from somebody and wow, I got a nice revelation. It did nothing for my life, but at least I got a nice revelation. Okay, it did nothing to expand the kingdom, but at least I got a nice revelation. Okay, what we do here is we give you tips and tricks combined with scriptures to be able to move you forward and increase every single area of your life, particularly with finances, okay? And finances are very, very key, especially in the kingdom. You see all these church buildings that you have, all right? You think they just popped out of the ground like trees? Nope. Somebody had to put forth the money to be able to make that happen. Yes, if you're the minister, that money was given to you and sown supernaturally, by all means. But guess what? That money had to get transferred from one account into yours. So that doesn't happen by accident. And it happens by determination, courage, boldness, vision, faith, a whole host of different things that are going to help you lead a better life today than you did yesterday and a better life tomorrow than you did today. Okay, so for my background, I've been in finance, accounting, and consulting for many, many years and have done that very successfully for a lot of Fortune 500 clients. And again, what I'm doing now is, I'm not a minister, so to speak, but what I'm doing today is sort of my time, talent, and treasure to be able to commit to you, the believer, or even the non-believer. If you're not a believer, please don't turn this off, because I'm telling you, you're going to get something today that's going to really help you with every area of your life. And for most of you, a lot of those areas have to do with finances. It's, I don't make enough money. There's too much month and not enough money. I'm not getting the nice gains that I would like to get out of my money. I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. What do I do? All those sorts of things. And this is a very different broadcast than most other finance-related broadcasts, even by Christians, even by believers. And it's not taking away from them. Hopefully they're on the assignment that God has called them to do. But this is very different. And it's going to bless you regardless here. I'm not going to take the time out of my day that I could be doing a million other things with, particularly my own personal finances, growing those as well, to be on a broadcast to just beat people up or tear people down. We're here to bring you up. And for a lot of you, that's something that's sorely, sorely missed. All right. Every single time you watch a broadcast, you just feel really, really bad of, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this. Oh my God, what do I do? Oh my God, I've heard it all. Believe me, I've been there too. I've been there. Wherever you've been financially, whether you're prospering or you're hurting, I can promise you I have been there. Believe me, I have been there, okay? I tell very, very clearly that one of the photos I have right there is the very first plane flight for 3 of my children was on a private jet that we paid for, did not borrow, did not do an Instagram photo shoot for 15 minutes. Hey, Mr. Billionaire, can I have your plane? I'm going to go post it on Instagram. Private jet life. Here we go. No, I didn't do that. I actually put the money to the charter jet company there and back. Okay, I did that. I promise you. It wasn't something we did on vanity. It was something very determined for a very specific purpose. Again, it wasn't for Instagram photos or anything like that. Okay, I have been there. I've also had negative bank accounts. And it's not fun. It's not fun when you have kids to feed and literally there's not only nothing in there, but the bank is asking you for money. Try living on that. Believe me, it is not fun. So I've been both of those places. And if you're a successful business owner, thank you for watching the broadcast. Even you today will get something out of this that's going to help you beyond belief. Okay? And again, my goal, my target audience for you particularly is the believer who's really been hurt by the church or doesn't feel like the church is really helping them in any way, shape, or form. It's also for the non-believer. Even if you're a believer in some other religion or whatever that is, this is for you too, because you're going to see that I'm going to talk about God and money and your life in a very different way than you've probably ever been used to. And that's okay, because I talk about my God very, very differently than most people. I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very thankful. There have been times in my life where I thought, why did God make me do this? And then maturing in the faith, I no longer say that anymore, because God is here to help me. God is here to assist me. God is here to give me tools. God is here to give me wisdom. God is here to help me fight my battles. In fact, not only that, he guarantees me victory on every place that the sole of my foot treads. That's what my God tells me. I don't know what God you serve, but that's a God who wants to help me. That's a God who wants to bless me. That's a God who wants to help me live an abundant and fruitful life. And that's what we talk about here on this broadcast. Philosophically speaking, I come from a perspective, the foundation of my core belief beyond my salvation in Jesus is Galatians 3, where we have been grafted in as believers in Jesus into those Old Testament promises and those Old Testament blessings, so to speak. There's no other way to put it. Old Testament blessings. So they belong to me. So when God tells me he's given me the power and ability to get wealth, that's mine. When God tells me that I shall live in fine homes, as in not only a fine home, but fine homes, plural, I receive that. That's a blessing for me and for you and for everybody else. Yes, you're supposed to live an abundant, fruitful life. And why do I come from it from that perspective? Because the number one key and problem that people are trying to solve in America is their finances. Their finances. Every aspect of it. I don't make enough. I spend too much. I'm in too much debt. My investments aren't growing up. All that stuff. Okay? God has something to say about it, and in a very different way than most people, because most believers are going to get on here, go through your income, go through your spending, do the spreadsheet and say, you got to do this, this, and this, and this, and project it out. 5 or 10 years from now, you'll have this. We're not promised tomorrow. I come from a very different perspective. That if you're supposed to save $1,500 a month out of your budget, so to speak, to kind of get yourself back on the snowball, and God says, you know what, this month I want that $1,500. I got a good purpose for it. And you're like, nope, I got my budget. Sorry, God's gonna use somebody else. And that's going to rub a lot of you the wrong way. That's okay. I'm not looking for everybody. I'm looking for somebody special, somebody unique, somebody who says, I'm tired of the life that I'm living. I want something better. I want something better. I want something fruitful. I want something abundant. And I want something that's so great, so magnificent, and so powerful that no one can deny when they look at my life, saying that there is a God behind me who is with me every step of the way. That's who we're looking for on this broadcast. That's who we're looking for. And again, I am not a minister. I am a businessman. I am in the private marketplace. That's where God has called me to be. All right? So that's where I come from, that perspective. Again, I believe the whole Bible, cover to cover, every single stinking word of it. I don't shy away from any of it whatsoever. And a lot of it is very ugly, especially in today's climate, so to speak. But I'm still going to hold on to it. I'm still going to believe it. And I'm still going to be unapologetic for it, coming at it from a private sector business marketplace perspective. That's what sets us apart. Okay? And if that's you, get on board, because your life is never going to be the same, and I can't wait to see it. All right? So today, again, the title, as you can see from the broadcast, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever it may be, any of the platforms that we're on right now, it sounds like a political message. And I will tell you right up front, we do not talk politics on this broadcast whatsoever. We believe on this broadcast, especially me personally, that whoever's in the office, whatever office that is, whether that's the judicial office, the executive office, or the congressional office, the legislative office, whichever of those three branches that are in, whoever it is, doesn't matter if it's Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Daffy Duck, the white Power Ranger, doesn't matter. It's not going to affect one iota of what I'm doing and the assignment that God has for me whatsoever. Okay? And again, the reason why we're talking about this particular topic is so you can get on the right side of the income inequality. Because I want to talk about what God has to say about this and how it's going to help your life. Everything I do on this broadcast is meant for you to be improved in some way, shape, or form, not just get nice information. Because if you just get nice information and just move on, there's plenty of other places you can go to. Plenty of other places. This is not that place. Okay, yes, you're going to get some nice information. You're going to get some revelations, all that. But at the same time, my hope is for you to take action with what we're going to talk about today, which is income inequality. In every single 2 years, 4 years, whenever there's an election, we always hear about somebody complaining about too much income inequality. Too much income inequality, particularly now when you have a brand new president. I mean, yes, he's not new, so to speak. Everyone on planet Earth has heard of Donald Trump for the last 30 or 40 years. He's been in the public spotlight for literally that long, which is crazy to think about. But putting all of that aside, you see him and the other person you see next to him, it's basically hand in hand, at least from what I have seen, is Elon Musk. And if you're not really happy with what they're doing right now, a lot of you are complaining about why should a man have a $400 billion net worth? That's not fair. He bought his way in, all that stuff. And believe me, we have a lot to say about all that too. The Bible also says what we're supposed to have to say about that as well. It doesn't surprise me one bit. It's just this is one of the few administrations that I have seen in my lifetime where the billionaire backers are out in front. How many times have you seen a president so far where his billionaire backer and donors, whoever they are out in front in the administration? Most of them are just behind the scenes. Like, hey, buddy, here's my money. I do what you do, but give me my kickbacks. Let me just sit on a beach. Let me just have a nice, abundant life. Just keep giving me the goodies, and I promise I won't hurt you. I promise I won't be in your way. That's all I ask. That's the way most of them are. Elon Musk is very different. Okay? Again, not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. Again, we don't talk politics. We don't say, well, he should do this, he should do that. We don't do that here. Okay? But I'm telling you, if you think this is brand new that a billionaire has bought his way into the White House, you have been living under a rock. What if I told you that this has been going on since the 1800s? Does the name William Jennings Bryan mean anything to you? Okay, who? Yeah, he was a candidate for president, did not win. Would you like to know why he didn't win? Because John D. Rockefeller and J.P. Morgan outfunded his entire campaign when he ran against William McKinley. You're like, who? Who the heck are these people? Right, I said the same thing. Okay, just think about that for a second. Imagine a candidate today whose two top billionaire donors outfunded the opponent. Just two people outfunded an entire presidential campaign. That's what happened. Well, you can guess who won. It was not William Jennings Bryan. It was William McKinley, funded by John D. Rockefeller and J.P. Morgan. Right? Guess what? This has been going on for a long time. None of this surprises me. All right? And that's a reason why I did a broadcast on Election Day titled, Why I'm Not Voting. Because this happens regardless of who wins. Kamala Harris wins, there's another billionaire out there getting rich, getting his influence on. Okay? And you may be thinking that's too much. Somebody needs to be stealing his money and all that. And guess what? God has something very different to say about this. Very, very different. Okay? And what I want to focus you on today is a couple of scriptures that really prove that point. So we're going to start with the parable of the talents. A lot of you have probably heard this before. It's Jesus talking about a parable almost immediately before he gets crucified. It's one of the last parables he talks about in Matthew 25, where he says a rich man was wealthy and he was leaving his land. He's getting 3 people to invest his money. One given 5 talents, one given 2 talents, one given 1 talent. What I want to focus, there's so much meat in that passage, by the way, that's going to help you along your road of life. But what I want to focus on today is the income inequality beforehand and the income inequality afterwards. Okay? So I'm going to be drawing on my iPad here in a few moments. I'm really thrilled to be able to produce my own show here, which is really, really fun. And just having all the things, all you see is a screen right here. All you see is that. You don't see anything going on behind here, which is right here, which is fantastic, okay? I love doing this. If you've never done something like this before, I would highly recommend it. It's really, really cool to be able to have all the moving parts today. You broadcast your message. All the viewer sees is the screen. And you are literally just monkey wrenching around in the back, making sure everything's right. The lighting's right. The screens are right. The connections are right. The applications are right. All that stuff. I have a lot more respect for people who do that, by the way. Okay, so let's get into it right here. Okay, we're going to go to Matthew 25. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about what the investors, so to speak, had beforehand and what the investors had afterwards. Okay, so what we're going to focus on is this. Here's what they had beforehand. This is Matthew 25, verse 15, out of the scriptures version, which most of you have never heard of, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite verse. It's my favorite. Favorite translation. And the reason I say that is because it's a group of Middle Eastern scholars who try to do what they can best to preserve the original meaning and the author's original intent. Now, the King James Version does that also, but it's written in Old English, which really isn't very helpful or powerful. But here we go. And to one he gave 5 talents, and to another 2 talents, and to another 1, each according to his ability. So, at the very beginning, we had 5 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent. So now let's focus on what happened after their investment activities, or lack thereof in the 1 talent space, okay? All right, so here's the 5 talent guy in verse 20. He who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents. So now he has 10. So the 5 guy went to 10, right? Now let's go to the 2 guy, the 2 talent guy. All right, this is verse 22. Then he who had received 2 talents came and said, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. See, I've gained 2 more besides them. So now the 2 guy has 4. Now let's look at the 1 guy. Let's go to verse 22. Okay, that's the 2. Oh, excuse me. Let's go to verse 24. And the one who had received the 1 talent also said, and he basically just gives an excuse. It says, I didn't do anything with it. And so what happens to that? The 1 talent guy has his 1 talent taken away from him and given to him who possesses 10 talents. So, in the end, we start with 5, 2, and 1. All right, let me go here really quick. All right, let's go to this. Let me just write this down so it's very easy for you. Okay, here it is. All right, before. Whoops, that is not right. Let's go here. Before. Get a pen. Before. Person number 1, 5. Number 2, 2. Number 3, 1. So now you can see beforehand the income inequality. 5 between 1 and 2, there's 3. Whoops. Let's do this. 3. And between the 2 and the 1, there's 1. Now let's go afterwards. Okay, guy number 1 could be a girl, I guess. Not likely given the age and the year, but now you never know. At number 1, remember he took his 5, doubled it to 10, and then received the 1 from guy number 3. So he has 11. Number 2, he doubled his from 2 to 4, so he has 4. Number 3 had his 1 stolen from him and given to the other guy. So 0. So afterwards, 11 to 4, difference of 7. 4 to 0, 4. So you can see, look at this. Look at this very, very carefully. You've probably never seen this before. Afterwards, the difference between guy number 1 and guy number 2 is 7 versus before it was 3. So income inequality more than doubled. Between guy number 2 and guy number 3, afterwards it was 4. Before it was 1. So income inequality quadrupled. Quadrupled. Let me say that again. Quadrupled. Okay? Have you thought of that before? Probably not. All right? So that is income inequality in God's kingdom. In God's kingdom, that is income inequality. Okay? So why is that important? Because the end philosophy is this. All right, it's one of the many drivers of the parable of the talents, which is verse 29. For to everyone who possesses, more shall be given, and he shall have overflowingly. Overflowingly. Would you like to have overflowingly? Keep watching this broadcast, and God will give you overflowingly and abundantly beyond your wildest dreams. And the second half says, but from him who does not possess, even what he possesses shall be taken away from him. Even what he possesses will be taken away. Taken away. So the guy who has very little now has none. Okay? Now imagine a guy running for president advocating that. Everyone who's wealthy and well off, I'm going to make sure you have more. But you who have very little, I'm going to take it away. Good luck getting elected. Right? I mean, seriously. That's income inequality. And it's not the first place he says this either. Matthew 13, verse 12, he also says literally the exact same thing. For whoever possesses, to him more shall be given, and he shall have overflowingly. But whoever does not possess, even what he possesses, shall be taken away from him. Where do you want to lie? Where do you want to lie? Your choices are basically this. Let's go back to the good old iPad here. All right? Let's go. All right. Let's go another page right here. All right. So basically, according to this, for those of you who are math geeks and visual learners, your options are basically this. In God's kingdom, there are two paths. One, thou shalt have more. He who has will be given more and more abundantly. More abundantly. Abundant. Or you can be right here, and whatever you have will be taken away from you. You'll be stagnant, and then God says, oop, I'm taken away. Bam. Okay? Taken away. Those are your two paths in God's kingdom. Taken away or abundance. You're either growing or you're dying. If you don't like it, talk to him. I didn't make it. I didn't make it. There's this right here, I'm just telling you right now, this right here, that does not exist in God's kingdom. Someone who's just going a little bit. Nope. Doesn't exist. He who has will have more abundantly. Okay? More abundantly. 5% raise a year is not abundance. That doesn't even keep up with inflation. Okay? So those are your two options. Let's just get this guy off the screen so you stop living in La La Land. Those are your two options. Taken away or abundance. Taken away or abundance. Now, a lot of you may be doing this. That's okay too, because you're not quite on the abundance path yet, but you also haven't had what you have taken away. That's okay too. Most of you are probably right here. Most of you are probably right there. And that's okay, because you haven't fallen off the cliff yet, and there's plenty of time for you to get back on the path of abundance. Okay? So, how does this help us? How does this apply to us? I want to go through a couple of things really quick. The first is types of income inequality. What we have right here, let me just get back on here, erase this guy. Okay? What we have right here is called natural income inequality. Right there. Natural income inequality. That is very special handwriting right there. Why? Because over time you can see the difference right here. This difference is right here, but as time goes on, the difference is bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's natural, because those who are business owners, investors, and on a path of abundance that God has for you, you're going to increase faster than your peers. Okay? Don't be surprised by that. And that's okay. Don't apologize for it either. I'm not going to. You shouldn't either. If you do apologize for it, you're going to get back on the taken away path. Okay? This is natural income inequality. This is what naturally occurs in an economy. It doesn't matter what kind of economy it is. This is as from God's perspective, this is healthy. This is healthy. Why? The people who are on his path are increasing significantly. The people who are not on his path are not increasing. So there's a financial incentive for you to get on his path. That's natural, okay? Because remember, we talk a lot on this broadcast about the types of income that you're supposed to earn, the types of paths in the economy that you're supposed to be on. If you're on those paths, you're going to live on the abundant part, okay? From God's perspective, this is natural. What is not natural is the inflation that we have today. That is not natural, okay? Because that's just, inflation is basically a wealth transfer from the poor to the rich. And no, I did not stutter when I said that. It is a wealth transfer from the poor to the rich. That is demonic beyond belief. And in a healthy, God-centered economy, there should be no inflation. There should be no inflation. In fact, if you look prior to 1913, with the creation of Federal Reserve, prior to that, if you look in the 1800s, you'll see if you look at a chart of price over time, prices actually declined over time. Now, that may be shocking to see, but over time, yes, they did decline. Only two times they didn't were in the War of 1812 and the Civil War. Two wars where governments had to print a lot of money to fund those wars and borrow and print to fund those wars. Other than that, prices fell. And the greatest economic growth in this country that happened in the Industrial Revolution, prices fell. That's hard to believe, but prices did fall. And I want you to focus on that because, again, why is that important? Because I want you to think about the next time somebody says, some politician runs and says, I abhor income inequality. We're going to fix income inequality. First of all, you're not going to. You're not going to. Because in the world that we live in, what Jesus just described in that parable is income inequality. Every single year, people, the wealthier, get further away from those who are less. Every single year it happens. It's going to happen, and it will happen every single year from now until eternity. It's going to happen. You're never going to take it away because it's in God's word. It's in God's word. But I want to go through an exercise really quick, just sort of to end on as we speak. All right? Let's take a look at a couple of different things. How much wealth do you think is in America right now? Total wealth. I'm talking houses, stocks, bonds, cars. If you want to call cars an asset, which, I mean, it's a depreciating asset, but it's still an asset. Okay? What's the total amount? Well, there is an organization that tracks that for us. The Federal Reserve does track all that information for us. Right? And so if you look down here at the total wealth as of Q3 2024, that total amount is $160 trillion. Of all wealth of all Americans in America right now, $160 trillion. Okay? How about the total income? That's measured right here, gross national income. So in 2023, as of the latest data, $27.56 trillion. That's total income of every American earned in the economy. $27.576 trillion. Okay? So, let's just say for the moment that somebody with a magic wand fixed income inequality. Fixed it all. And said, I'm confiscating the wealth. I'm confiscating the income. We're going to distribute it equally. Equally. Well, what does that look like? What does that look like? What that looks like, if we take those total numbers and divide them into the population, okay, total wealth and income average. Okay, so the average individual would now have an income of $79,000 a year. Wealth would be $457,000. Okay? All right. So, we have now fixed income inequality. Everybody earns the same. Everybody has the same wealth. How long do you think that's going to last? How many people are in the casinos right now in Las Vegas? So, and now you just have $457,000 plopped into your bank account. Guess what? Some of them are going to go to the bank, pull all that money out, and roll the dice on red. Now we have income inequality again. Though the guy with the magic wand has to go back and do it again. Guess what? Other people are going to say, wow, I have $457,000 now. That's enough to start my dream business. 2 years from now, they sell that business for $10 million. That wealth just went through the roof. Now multiply that by 350 million people. Do you really think someone with no financial sense whatsoever has dropped those numbers and doesn't just completely destroy their life? That's what's going to happen. And the other people on the other side are going to say, wow, this is the raise I've been waiting for. I'm going to work now. Now I can go after that dream that I had. And I'm going to go to that seminar. I'm going to start that business. I'm going to, take my wife home, something like that. Keep my wife home to watch the kids. Now I can just focus on the earning and all that stuff or whatever the heck people are thinking about. Guess what? Now they can do it. Their wealth goes through the roof. Other people's wealth, again, the guy who spends all his money on drugs, guess what? Give him $457,000. That's a lot of drugs. He's probably dead. That wealth would kill him. Literally kill him. And now guess what? That money goes to somebody else. You're never going to solve income inequality. Fix it, so to speak. You're never going to do it. Never going to do it. So what's the moral of all this? Okay? God is looking for someone who desires increase. God is looking for someone who can be on the path of abundance. God is looking for someone who's going to go to fight each and every day for the advancement of his kingdom. And that doesn't necessarily mean dropping everything you own, dropping everything you do, and going into full-time ministry. That does not mean that. I'm not there. I'm a guy who's in the private marketplace. That's where the Lord has put me right now, in the private marketplace, to invest, to trade, to grow businesses, to help clients, serve clients, train other people, all that stuff. That's where God has put me right now. I'm not in ministry. But at the same time, we have to have somebody who's desiring increase, and a lot of increase. Okay? If that's not you, then there's something missing. Very few people can go literally 5 years making the exact same money that they have and be happy. Very few people can go 2 years making the exact same money and be happy. There's something in them that says, I want more. This level is nice, but I want more. That's human nature to want more. Why? Because God created you that way. And if something is suppressing that, then that's something where you're going to have to look in the mirror. And God can help you with that. He has certainly helped me with that over the years, many, many fold. And he will continue to do that. I am so thankful to the mighty God that I serve. So thankful. And listen, if you don't know that God, by all means, the best thing for you to do, the best decision you'll ever make in your life is to click the button below this that says get saved, to read that prayer and give your life to the Lord. Okay? That's one of the best decisions I ever made. The best decision I've ever made. Why? Because it guaranteed me eternal life and there and an abundant life here. What else could you ask for? All right? So I want you to get on the right side of this income inequality. You're not fixing it. Again, if it's not obvious that I'm not running for office, it sure is now. This is not me. And this is probably going to just destroy any chances of any elected official ever calling me into his office or her office and saying, what should I do? That's okay too. Maybe there is somebody out there that's going to do that one day. Man, I don't know what you're thinking, but hey, to each his own, I guess. I'm just doing what the Lord tells me to do. I'm talking about the Lord, what the Lord wants me to talk about, and just advancing his kingdom the best I possibly can. And for me, that's going to war every single day in the marketplace to take territory from the enemy and give it into the kingdom. That's my goal, to live an abundant life here, to advance the kingdom, and to, again, have that great place in heaven waiting for us as well. Okay? So, if that's you, go ahead. There's a ton of content on the YouTube channel, a ton of content. So all that's there to help you. For you to get a great story out of this. Not a story to read, but a story of your own progression, a story of your own advancement, and a story of God's miracle working power in your life and what He's going to do for you. That I want you to tell. All right. When that happens, the email that we have for this broadcast is listed below. Go ahead and put that in there. It'll get to me. And I can't wait to hear your story of what God's going to do for you and what God has done for you. So with that being said, hopefully you got something great out of this. I'm really, really thankful. We're going to be on very, very soon. And again, your next step, go ahead and give our Facebook group a follow. The link is in the description below. Okay. And we're going to post a lot of great stuff there. And I can't wait to see you on the next broadcast. And I will see you very, very soon. Take care, everybody.